The phone rang. It was my girlfriend, Lily Harper. Caleb, I lost a bet playing a game. I chuckled. Nothing good ever came from her games. What did you lose this time? I'm not buying you bubble tea again. She hemmed and hawed. The penalty is... I have to shave my legs. And we need a box of condoms. Urgently. My head started to buzz. In the background, a frivolous male voice urged her on. Pay up if you lose, Lily. She rushed me. Hurry up and bring them over. We're waiting to use them. Waiting to use them? I looked at the instant ramen I had just made. The warmth in my heart turned instantly to ice. Fine, Lily Harper. You like to play games? This time, I'll play a big one with you. Through the receiver, Lily's voice turned whiny and impatient. Caleb, did you hear me? Hurry up, my friends are waiting. Friends? My knuckles turned white as I gripped my chopsticks. The cheap wooden utensils, bought from a dollar store, snapped under the pressure. I heard more than just her voice. I heard that man's sleazy laughter and the jeers of the crowd who loved the spectacle. Lily, can your boyfriend even handle this? Why is he so slow? Yet, does he even have the cash? A box is only a few bucks. Ha, I'm gonna lend you some. Humiliation. Naked, undisguised humiliation. It felt like red-hot needles stabbing into my ears. And my girlfriend, Lily, didn't say a single word in my defense. I took a deep breath. My chest felt like it was blocked by a chunk of cold, hard ice. 3 years of a relationship. For her, I gave up everything my family arranged. I disguised myself as a regular salaryman, squeezing into the subway for an hour every day, living on a dead-end salary of $3,000 a month. I thought this was love. I thought it was sharing joy and sorrow, a purity that existed beyond materialism. Now it seemed the only pure thing was my stupidity. A dress. I squeezed the word through my teeth, my voice terrifyingly calm. Lily didn't seem to notice anything wrong and quickly rattled off a location. The Grand Imperial Hotel, room 8808. Hurry up. She hung up. Listening to the dial tone, I laughed. I laughed until tears nearly came out. The Grand Imperial Hotel. That was my family's property. Room 8808 was the presidential suite, never open to the public, reserved only for the highest tier VIPs. How did she get in there? The answer was self-evident. I picked up the steaming bowl of ramen, walked to the window, and, without hesitation, dumped the noodles and soup out. A stray cat yowled from the alley below. I closed the window and pulled a dusty suitcase from under the bed. Inside, there were no clothes, just a black satellite phone with no logo and a pure black metal card. I blew the dust off the phone and pressed the only button. The call connected instantly. Sir, a calm, respectful female voice answered, laced with a trace of suppressed excitement. Serena, I spoke flatly. I'll give you 3 minutes. Pull the guest records for room 8808 at the Grand Imperial. And give me a full dossier on a man named Hunter King. Yes, sir. Serena Vance didn't ask questions. She executed orders. I leaned against the wall and lit a cigarette. The smell of cheap tobacco filled the cramped studio apartment. Hunter King. I recognized the name. My cheap rival, a second-generation rich kid whose family ran a small, broken-down company. He'd been chasing Lily recently. Less than a minute later, my phone buzzed. Serena's text arrived. Hunter King, only son of Richard King, chairman of King Enterprises. Market cap approximate $100 million. Currently, Hunter King is in room 8808 with Ms. Lily Harper. Note, King Enterprises is currently seeking a $10 million loan for project turnover. I looked at the text, my cold sneer widening. $100 million? And they dare call themselves an enterprise? I picked up the satellite phone again. Serena, get ready. First, notify the general manager of the Grand Imperial. Tell him to take security to room 8808 and clear the floor. The reason, a fly has entered my private suite. Second, activate protocol Nemesis. Target, King Enterprises. I want that company erased from the face of the earth before the sun rises tomorrow. Third, have a suit ready. The car waits downstairs. On the other end, Serena's breath hitched slightly before she responded with near fanatical zeal. Yes. Sir, welcome back. I hung up and crushed the cigarette, but into the ashtray. The game was over. Lily, Hunter, you guys like to play? I opened the door and walked out. The night was dark. I walked out of the dilapidated apartment building. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom was already waiting silently at the curb. The license plate was all 8s. A driver in a black suit and white gloves saw me, immediately stepped out, and respectfully opened the door. Sir, I nodded and got in. Inside, Serena was already waiting. She wore a sharp white business suit that outlined her perfect curves. Her makeup was exquisite, but her eyes held that familiar sharpness, the look of the Wolf of Wall Street. Sir, the clothes you requested. She handed me a box. I opened it to reveal a handmade Armani suit. The dossier on King Enterprises is here. She handed me a tablet. I changed clothes while scrolling through the data. King Enterprises, a small company that got lucky during the early real estate boom. Unstable foundation, high debt ratio, chaotic internal management. Richard King himself was a gambling addict with significant overseas debt. Vulnerable. Serena, let's play hard this time. I finished knotting my tie. The man in the mirror had changed completely. No longer the submissive office drone Caleb Stone, but the Caleb Stone who controlled the Pantheon, the world's largest financial consortium. I want the King father and son not just bankrupt, but buried under insurmountable debt, struggling in despair for the rest of their lives. Serena's lips curled into a bloodthirsty smile. Understood. I've already had the European team contact the creditors holding Richard King's gambling debts. They are very willing to cooperate. Good. The car glided to a stop at the entrance of the Grand Imperial Hotel. The doorman nearly fell to his knees when he saw the car, running over to open the door. The general manager, a fat man named Lloyd, was already waiting with a large group of security guards. Seeing me step out, he rushed over like a pug, bowing 90 degrees. Mr. Stone, sir, why are you here personally? Forgive my lack of welcome. Forgive me. Cold sweat drenched his forehead. He knew this hotel was my property, but he didn't know I had been living under his nose, pretending to be poor for 3 years. I glanced at him coldly. Since when did my room become a dumping ground for any stray dog to enter? Lloyd's legs went weak. It is my dereliction of duty. I deserve to die. I will handle it immediately. Immediately. He knew a single sentence from me could turn him from a millionaire manager into a beggar on the street. Lead the way. Yes. Lloyd scrambled to lead the way, the security team following aggressively behind. We took the private elevator straight to the top floor. As soon as the elevator doors opened, disgusting laughter drifted from room 8808. Lily, is your boyfriend coming or not? We can't wait. Yeah, if he doesn't show, Hunter will have to help you shave personally. Ha ha ha. Lily's coquettish voice rang out. Oh, stop it, you guys. He's on his way. It's his blessing to run errands for us. He's just a broke loser. Standing at the door, listening to those words, the last shred of sentiment in my heart turned to ash. Lloyd looked back at me. Seeing my expressionless face, he understood. He signaled the head of security. The guard swiped the master key card. Beep. Bang. The door was kicked open. The room fell instantly silent. On the sofas, 7 or 8 men and women sat in disarray. Lily was nestled in the arms of the man named Hunter King. Her dress was hiked up her thigh, and she held a razor in her hand. Seeing us suddenly appear, everyone froze. Lily's face went white instantly. Caleb, how did you? Her words were cut off by Hunter. Hunter had clearly had too much to drink. He squinted at me, then at the guard behind me, and laughed arrogantly. Yo, isn't this the delivery boy? What? You found place. Brought helpers? Want to fight? He stood up, walked over, and poked me in the chest. Let me tell you, I'm in a good mood today. Leave your girlfriend here, get the hell out, and I might pretend this never happened. Otherwise, you're leaving on a stretcher. I looked at his arrogant face and smiled. Ignoring him, I looked past him to Lily, who was too scared to speak. I pulled an item from my pocket and tossed it onto the carpet in front of her. It was a fresh box of condoms from the convenience store. Didn't you want these? Here they are. My voice wasn't loud, but it slapped Lily across the face harder than a physical blow. She looked at the box on the floor, then at me, her lips trembling, unable to form a word. Hunter's face darkened. Kid, you have a death wish. He raised his fist, aiming for my face. I didn't move. The 2 black-suited bodyguards behind me moved like iron towers. One of them caught Hunter's fist effortlessly with a single hand. Hunter's face turned liver red. He strained with all his might, but his fist felt clamped in a vice, immovable. Ow. Let go. Let go of me, he screamed. The other bodyguard kicked him squarely in the knee. Thud. Hunter's knees buckled, and he dropped uncontrollably, kneeling straight in front of me. The room fell into a deathly silence. Everyone was stunned by the sudden turn of events. I looked down at Hunter kneeling on the floor, lifted my foot, and used the toe of my expensive leather shoe to gently tap his pain-twisted face. You want to play with me? Do you deserve to? Hunter knelt there, his face filled with disbelief and agony. His cronies behind him, arrogant just moments ago, now shrank back into the sofa, silent as cicadas in winter, afraid to even breathe. Lily's face was pale as paper. She looked at me with eyes full of strangeness and fear. She had known me for 3 years, but she had never seen me like this. In her eyes, I was always the gentle, honest, somewhat spineless Caleb. Who the hell are you? Hunter gritted his teeth, squeezing the question out. Who am I? I chuckled softly, leaning down to whisper in his ear in a voice only we could hear. I'm the one who can make you and your father jump off a roof together. My voice was light, but it sounded like a curse from hell, making Hunter shudder. The ferocity in his eyes was instantly replaced by terror. You dare touch me? Do you know who my dad is? My dad is Richard King, chairman of King Enterprises. He shouted, trying to mask his fear. King Enterprises? I straightened up as if I'd heard the world's biggest joke. Oh, you mean that trash company with a 70% debt ratio, surviving on high-interest loans, set to declare bankruptcy tomorrow? As my words fell, Hunter's pupils constricted violently. You're talking bullshit. My dad's company is fine. Is it? I took out my phone, opened a real-time stock trading app, and threw it in front of him. Look for yourself. On the screen was the stock chart for King Enterprises. Just now, a straight red line plunged down like a waterfall, hitting the circuit breaker immediately. Below the chart, countless sell orders flooded in, the volume so massive it seemed to swallow the entire board. No. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Hunter screamed like a madman. The market just opened. How could it crash? This is fake. You photoshopped it. Just then, his phone rang frantically. He fumbled to answer. From the other end came his father Richard King's exasperated roar. Hunter, you ungrateful son. Who did you offend out there? The company is done. Done. Hunter's phone clattered to the floor. He went completely limp, collapsing on the ground, muttering to himself, Done? How could this be? I stopped looking at him and turned my gaze to Lily. She was looking at me like I was a monster, her body trembling uncontrollably. Caleb, what is happening? You. I walked toward her, step by step. She retreated in fear until her back hit the cold wall. Nowhere to run. I stood before her, looking at the face I once loved deeply. Now, I felt only disgust. What, don't recognize me? I grabbed her chin, forcing her to look in my eyes. Didn't you say I was a broke loser? That running errands for you was my blessing. I didn't mean that. Caleb, listen to me. Lily started crying, tears mixing with her ruined makeup, looking pathetic. Explain. I smiled. Go ahead. Explain. Hunter and I were just playing around. Nothing happened between us. The one I love is you, Caleb. She grabbed my arm, arguing desperately. Love me. I shook off her hand with enough force to make her stumble and fall to the floor. You love me, so you were in his arms getting ready to let him shave you? You love me, so you call me a loser in front of everyone? Lily Harper, you make me sick. With every sentence I spoke, her face grew paler. Finally, she slumped on the floor, wailing. I looked down at her, my eyes devoid of pity. Stop crying, I said indifferently. The game has just begun. I turned to the hotel manager, Lloyd. Throw these people out. From now on, they are permanently blacklisted from all properties under my name. Especially these two. I pointed to Hunter and Lily. Yes, sir. Lloyd bowed and scraped, immediately ordering security to act. The guards rushed in like wolves, hauling up Hunter and his friends, dragging them out like dead dogs. Let go of me. Do you know who I am? Don't touch me. Screams and pleas for mercy filled the air. Lily was grabbed by 2 female guards. She struggled desperately, crying out to me, Caleb, I was wrong. Forgive me this once. I really know I was wrong. I didn't look back. I never forgive traitors. Soon, the room returned to silence. Lloyd approached me cautiously. Sir, does the room need to be sanitized and redecorated? No need. I walked to the massive floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the city lights. I won't be coming to this room again. It's too dirty. I left the Grand Imperial Hotel. Serena had a different car ready downstairs, a more understated Maybach. Sir, King Enterprises stock has completely collapsed, triggering multiple circuit breakers. Evidence of Richard King embezzling public funds and cooking the books has been anonymously sent to the SEC. Serena reported as she opened the car door for me. Good work. I got into the car, rubbing my temples. Additionally, the identities of Hunter King and his friends have been verified. Serena handed me a tablet. Their parent companies mostly have business dealings with King Enterprises or are involved in various regulatory violations. I scrolled through the list, a cold smile playing on my lips. Deal with them all, I said. I want them to pay the price for today's carnival. Understood, Serena nodded. Before dawn, they will all receive foreclosure notices from the banks and investigation letters from relevant departments. The car started, merging into the city traffic. Watching the neon lights flash backward out the window, 3 years of memories flashed through my mind like a bad movie. To experience so-called true love, I lived like a fool, scraping by with Lily. I wore $10 t-shirts while she happily maxed out my credit cards buying $1,000 bags. I ate ramen every day to save money, while she mocked my lack of ambition with her friends at high-end restaurants. I thought that was the compromise and tolerance of love. Now I understood. That was just being pathetic. Sir, back to the pinnacle? Serena asked softly. The pinnacle was my villa at the summit of the city center, covering acres of land, overlooking the entire city. In these 3 years, I hadn't been back once. Yes, I closed my eyes. Let's go back. Some things were time to take back. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the Grand Imperial Hotel, Lily, Hunter, and their group were thrown onto the street by security like trash. Hunter was still soulless from the news of his company's bankruptcy. His friends received calls from home one after another. On the other end, without exception, were their parents' screams and cries. What? The company is sealed? Dad, how is that possible? Didn't our loan just come through? The bank is calling the loan? Why? For a moment, the hotel entrance was a scene of apocalyptic wailing. They finally realized what kind of existence they had offended. And Lily sat dazed on the ground, watching this absurd scene, her mind blank. Caleb, that man she thought was honest to a fault, even a bit a coward. The backup plan she thought she could manipulate and summon at will. How could he possess such terrifying power? One sentence, and $100 million company vanished. One look, and the hotel manager bowed like a dog. She couldn't figure it out, and she couldn't accept it. Trembling, she pulled out her phone and dialed my number. It rang for a long time. Just when she thought I wouldn't answer, the line connected. Caleb, she screamed urgently, like grabbing onto the last straw. Caleb, I was wrong. I really was wrong. Can you forgive me? Is our 3 years of feeling for each other fake? Listening to her hoarse crying on the other end, my heart remained unmoved. 3 years of feeling. I chuckled lightly. Lily, from the moment you called me to the hotel to deliver that item, there was nothing left between us. No, that's not it. I was just confused for a moment. Hunter forced me. She was still making excuses. Is that so? I said. So, when you call me a broke loser in front of everyone, did he force you to do that too? Lily was instantly speechless. Lily, save your cheap tears. My voice turned cold. You didn't love me. You loved my money. It's just a pity you didn't have the vision, nor the destiny. No, Caleb, I love you. I really love you. Give me one more chance. Chance? I sneered. What kind of chance do you want? To move into the pinnacle? Or to swipe my black card whenever you want? Lily froze. The pinnacle. That was the legendary top-tier mansion in the city, rumored to belong to a mysterious owner richer than nations. The black card, a symbol of ultimate wealth and status. These were things she dreamed of, and now, I was telling her personally that they belonged to me. Regret and unwillingness devoured her heart like vipers. If she hadn't made that call, if she had been better to Caleb, then the person owning all this now would be her. Caleb, her voice was filled with despair and greed. Too bad. I interrupted her unrealistic fantasy. You don't deserve it. With that, I hung up and blocked her number. Outside the car window, the city lights receded, and the silhouette of the palace-like villa on the peak became clear. I was back, and for those who betrayed me, who humiliated me, their hell was just beginning. The Maybach drove smoothly into the pinnacle. The villa gates opened automatically. 2 rows of servants and bodyguards in uniform were already respectfully lined up on both sides. Welcome home, sir. Their unified voices echoed in the silent mountain air. I stepped out of the car, Serena following close behind. The butler, Uncle Lee, came forward. He was an old retainer left by my father, who had watched me grow up. Young master, you're finally back. Uncle Lee's eyes were moist. Uncle Lee, I'm back. I patted his shoulder. Walking into the villa, everything was exactly as I'd left it, spotless. Young master, supper is ready. I sat at the massive dining table. It was filled with exquisite dishes. The ingredients for any single dish probably cost a month of my salary from the last 3 years. How ironic. I had no appetite, just sipped a bowl of bird's nest soup. Serena, how is the King family matter being handled? Reporting to the Sir, the chain of evidence regarding Richard King's embezzlement, illegal fundraising, and tax evasion has been submitted. Because of his huge overseas gambling debts, Interpol has flagged him. He's expected to be barred from leaving the country by morning, and prison awaits him. And Hunter King, all assets under his name have been frozen. His credit cards are void. He's been taken in by the police for investigation regarding group indecency. Serena's tone was calm, as if discussing a trivial matter. Good, I nodded. And his entourage. Their family businesses have all suffered severe capital chain ruptures under our targeted strikes. Within 3 days, they will declare bankruptcy one after another. The individuals themselves have been expelled from schools or fired from companies due to various misconducts. As for Lily Harper, Serena paused. I used connections to blacklist her from employment in the industry. Furthermore, the landlord of her apartment has demanded she move out immediately because we acquired the building. I put down my spoon and looked at Serena. Well done. What I want is for her to taste the cold reality of the world, to know that without me, she is nothing. Serena smiled slightly. It is my honor to share the burden for you, sir. I stood up and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. From here, I could overlook half the city's lights. Thousands of lights, yet not one was left on for me. I once thought there was one, but it was just an illusion. Sir, what are you thinking about? Serena walked to my side. Nothing. I gathered my thoughts. I just feel that this 3-year act went on a bit too long. It's time to let everyone know that I, Caleb Stone, have returned. The next day, a massive earthquake shook the city's business world. The mid-sized King Enterprises turned into waste paper overnight. Chairman Richard King was arrested, and his son Hunter King was detained. Immediately following, over a dozen companies associated with the King Group were exposed for scandals and teetered on bankruptcy. Everyone smelled something unusual. Behind this, a giant invisible hand was clearly manipulating everything. Meanwhile, Lily Harper was dragging a suitcase, being chased out of her rental apartment like a dog by her landlady. Get out! Get out! Bad luck! Mrs. Landlady, please give me 2 more days. I really have nowhere to go. I don't care where you go. This building belongs to a new boss now, and the new boss said you have to get the hell out immediately. The obese landlady looked disgusted. Lily sat desperately on the curb. All the money she had on her added up to less than $100. Just yesterday, she had maxed out her credit card to buy the latest designer bag. Now that bag lay in her suitcase like a giant mockery. She tried to find a job, only to find that the dozens of resumes she sent out sank like stones in the ocean. She called her old friends. Hearing it was her, they either hung up immediately or mocked her. Yo, isn't this Hunter's girlfriend? What got dumped? Don't call me. I don't dare get involved with you. Bad luck. She finally understood what it meant to be deserted by everyone, to have no way out. She thought of me. She thought of what I said yesterday. You didn't love me. You love my money. You don't deserve it. Tears of regret poured out again. She wasn't resigned to this. Why? Why did she have to end up like this? That Serena, that woman by Caleb's side. Why could she have everything Lily dreamed of? Jealousy and resentment grew wildly in her heart. She made a crazy decision. She was going to the pinnacle. She was going to find Caleb. She wanted to ask him to his face why she wasn't as good as that Serena. She didn't believe that 3 years of feelings could be cut off just like that. She hailed a taxi and gave the name The Pinnacle. The driver gave her a weird look, but started the car. Half an hour later, the taxi stopped at the foot of the mountain leading to the Pinnacle. Miss, can't go up. It's private territory ahead. Security is blocking the way. Lily paid and got out. Looking at the massive iron gate that looked like a heavenly barrier and the black-suited guards standing post, she gritted her teeth and walked over. Hello, I'm looking for Caleb Stone, she said to the guard. The guard looked at her like she was an idiot. There is no one named Caleb Stone here. Please leave immediately. Impossible. He's right inside. I'm his girlfriend. Lily screamed hysterically. Over the guard's radio came Serena's icy voice. Let her cause a scene. Wait for the reporters to arrive before handling it. Lily didn't know that a large net targeting her had quietly opened. She thought she came to demand answers, unaware she was just the chicken I was using to scare the monkeys. Lily threw a tantrum at the foot of the mountain, quickly attracting attention. Not long after, several cars with press plates coincidentally passed by and stopped. Cameras and microphones instantly pointed at Lily. Miss, why are you crying here? You just said you were Mr. Caleb Stone's girlfriend, the girlfriend of the Pinnacle's owner. As far as we know, the identity of the Pinnacle's owner has always been a mystery. How do you know him? The reporters swarmed Lily like sharks, smelling blood. Lily had never seen such a scene and was flustered for a moment. But then she thought, wasn't this the chance she wanted? Blow things up and force Caleb to come out and see her. She immediately put on a pitiful act, crying to the cameras. Hi, my name is Lily Harper. I've been with Caleb for 3 years. He always lied to me, saying he was an ordinary person. We suffered together, struggled together. But I never expected he was the owner of the pinnacle. Now that he's rich, he doesn't want me anymore. He has another woman, so he abandoned me. Boo-hoo. I just want an explanation from him. He shouldn't treat me like this. She wept bitterly, painting herself as a poor girl played and discarded by a wealthy heir. The reporters were excited. This was huge news. Misterioso bilionário, dramatic romance, abandome meia. Camera shatters, clique incessantly. Just then, the massive, tightly closed iron gates of the pinnacle slowly opened. A convoy of 10 Rolls-Royces slowly drove out. The lead car stopped in front of the reporters and Lily. The door opened. Serena stepped out, wearing a limited edition Chanel suit and sunglasses, radiating power. Behind her followed 4 bodyguards in black. All camera lenses instantly shifted from Lily to Serena. Wow, who is this woman? Such presence. That suit she's wearing, I've only seen in magazines. Only 3 exist worldwide. Serena walked up to Lily, took off her sunglasses, and looked down at her. Ms. Harper, you claim to be our boss's girlfriend. Oppressed by her presence, Lily struggled to breathe, but stiffened her neck and said, That's right. I was with Caleb for 3 years. 3 years. Serena smiled, a smile full of contempt and ice. As far as I know, 3 years ago, our boss simply wanted to conduct a social experiment regarding whether humanity and love can withstand the test of money. And you, Ms. Harper, were honored to become the lab rat for this experiment. What? Experiment? Lily was stunned. All the reporters present were also stunned. Serena ignored their shock. She took a tablet from a bodyguard and played a video. In the video, it was a conversation between me and Serena 3 years ago. Sir, have you really decided to do this? Disguise yourself as an ordinary person to find so-called true love. Serena, I just want to see if, stripping away all my status and wealth, anyone will fall in love with Caleb Stone the person. But this is too dangerous. The human heart cannot withstand testing. Then let the game be even more intense. The video ended. The scene was dead silent. Everyone looked at Lily like she was a fool. After all that, she wasn't some abandoned girlfriend. She was just a test subject in a rich man's game. And the test result was clearly a failure. Lily's face drained of blood instantly. She felt like a clown, stripped naked, exposed to the eyes of the world. No, this isn't true. You faked this. Caleb, come out. Tell me yourself. She screamed frantically. Serena looked at her coldly, like looking at trash. Our boss is busy managing the world. He has no time to see a defective product from a failed experiment. Additionally, Serena pulled a check from her bag and threw it in Lily's face. Here is $1 million. Consider it your compensation for participating in the experiment. Take the money and get out of this city. Otherwise, next time, you won't be crying on the curb. You'll be crying in prison. The check drifted lightly to the ground. 1 million. Before yesterday, this sum was astronomical to Lily. But now it felt like the loudest slap, striking her very soul. Her 3 years of youth, 3 years of feelings, were worth 1 million in their eyes. An experiment fee. Puffed. Lily tasted sweetness in her throat and spat out a mouthful of blood, falling straight backward. Serena didn't even spare her a glance. She put on her sunglasses and turned back to the car. The luxury convoy sped away, leaving behind only flashing cameras and a woman completely broken, nailed to the pillar of shame. Inside the car, Serena reported to me, Sir, it's handled. I sat in the back, looking out the window, and gave a faint Lily didn't matter anymore. Next, I was going to see the real big fish. Go to Sterling Group, I ordered. Sterling Group, the city's largest commercial real estate company. Its chairman, Victor Sterling, was a true formidable figure. He was also the biggest backer behind Richard King. The King family fell. He couldn't possibly not react. I wanted to see how he wanted to play. The Sterling Group headquarters tower pierced the clouds, a landmark of the city. My convoy drove unimpeded straight into the building's exclusive underground parking. Serena had called ahead. Serena and I took the private elevator straight to the chairman's office on the top floor. The elevator doors opened. An old man in a fine tailored suit with an old-school vibe, spirited and sharp, stood waiting. This was Victor Sterling. Mr. Stone graces us with his presence. Forgive my lack of welcome. Victor wore a smile, but his eyes held scrutiny and calculation. Mr. Sterling is too kind. I responded flatly, walking straight into his office. The office was frighteningly large. One entire wall was glass, overlooking the financial district. The decor was antique, highlighting the owner's taste and wealth. I wonder what advice Mr. Stone has for my humble self today. Victor poured me tea personally getting straight to the point. He was a smart man. He didn't like beating around the bush. I lifted the teacup and sniffed. Excellent vinta catea. Mr. Sterling has good taste. I didn't answer his question directly. Toying with the cup, I spoke slowly. I heard Richard King is your man. Victor's eyes narrowed slightly. Then he laughed. Mr. Stone must be joking. Mr. King and I just have some business dealings. I wouldn't say he's my man. He washed his hands of the relationship completely. Is that so? I put down the cup, leaning forward slightly, an invisible pressure enveloping the office. But I heard that King Enterprises exists today entirely because of your support from the shadows. 30% of his annual profits go into your pocket. The smile on Victor's face finally faltered. Mr. Stone's information is truly formidable. My people touched your wallet. Mr. Sterling must be very unhappy deep down, right? I stared into his eyes. Victor was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed loudly. Mr. Stone speaks plainly. I, Victor Sterling, like dealing with young men like you. He changed his tone, his voice dropping. Correct. Richard King was my dog. You beating my dog was indeed disrespectful to its master. But he leaned back in his chair, interlacing his fingers in a superior posture. Richard King was incompetent. Offending a true dragon like you, Mr. Stone, means he deserved it. I will make an enemy of you over a dead dog. He was softening, but also testing my bottom line. Mr. Sterling is indeed a sensible man. I smiled. In that case, I won't talk in circles. I came today to discuss a deal with you. Oh, do tell. I want 50% of Sterling Group's shares. I said it lightly as if buying a cabbage. What? Even a figure like Victor Sterling was shocked enough to stand up from his chair. His face was iron gray as he stared at me. Caleb Stone, are you joking? Sterling Group was worth nearly $10 billion. 50% shares meant $5 billion. And this meant handing over control of the company. Do I look like I'm joking? I met his gaze, not backing down an inch. This is robbery. Victor shouted in anger. You can think of it that way. I shrugged indifferently. Of course, you can also refuse. However, my tone shifted, becoming grim. You saw what happened to King Enterprises. I don't mind adding another bankrupt company to this city. Threat. A naked threat. Victor shook with rage. Domineering in the business world for decades. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Caleb Stone, don't push too far. I'm not trash like Richard King. If you want to move my Sterling Group, you have to see if you have the capability. He slammed the table and roared. Capability? I smiled. I took out my phone and dialed a number. Start. With that, I turned the phone screen toward Victor. On the screen was the stock page for Sterling Group. The instant I gave the order, massive sell orders, like a tsunami, smashed frantically into Sterling Group's ticker. The stock price plummeted in response. 1 minute down 5%. 3 minutes down 10%. Suspension triggered. Victor's face went from iron gray to pale white. His phone rang insanely. Calls from company executives and shareholders demanding answers. He didn't answer a single one. He just stared at me, eyes full of fear and disbelief. He couldn't figure out how much power the other side mobilized to render a behemoth worth nearly $10 billion defenseless in mere minutes. Now, do you think I have the capability? I put away my phone and asked calmly. Victor seemed drained of all strength, slumping back into his chair. He knew he had lost completely. In the face of absolute power, his decades of operation, his so-called business empire, were nothing but a joke. I agree. He squeezed the words from his throat with difficulty, aging 10 years in an instant. Good. I stood up and adjusted my suit. Serena, you handle the follow-up. Yes, sir. I walked to the door, paused, and looked back at Victor. Oh, right, Chairman Sterling. From now on, call me Mr. Stone. With that, I left without looking back, leaving behind an old man who had lost his soul and his kingdom. From today on, the business map of this city would be rewritten by me. The annexation of Sterling Group went smoother than I imagined. Faced with absolute capital crushing, Victor Sterling had no room to resist. The next day, Sterling Group held a board meeting announcing the equity change. I, Caleb Stone, in the name of the Pantheon Group, officially became the largest shareholder and chairman of Sterling Group. When this news broke, the city was in an uproar again. Everyone knew that the mysterious force that wiped out the King family and a dozen enterprises overnight was the legendary Pantheon Group. And I was the helmsman of Pantheon. My photo and name appeared formally on the front pages of major financial media for the first time. Mysterious Emperor returns, business landscape to change. Youngest billionaire, revealing the legendary life of Caleb Stone. For a time, I became the hottest figure in the city. Countless people wanted to curry favor with me. Invitations to banquets flew in like snowflakes. Among them, one invitation was special. It came from a city's syndicate, the Carters, the Prices, the Sawyers, and the Lewis family. They jointly hosted a business gala, specifically inviting me by name. A trap. I looked at the gold-stamped invitation and smiled. Serena said beside me, "Sir, the syndicate has been entrenched in this city for years, deeply rooted. We moved against Victor Sterling, which means we touched their cake. They definitely can't sit still." Good. I tossed the invitation on the table. If they didn't come to me, I'd have to go find them one by one. Troublesome. Then let's go meet them. The gala was held at the most luxurious 6-star hotel in the city center. When I walked into the ballroom with Serena on my arm, the entire hall fell instantly silent. All eyes focused on me. Envy, jealousy, awe, curiosity. Various gazes intertwined. I ignored them and walked straight to the center of the ballroom. Four middle-aged men with imposing auras walked toward me with wine glasses. The leader was the head of the Carter family, Julian Carter. "Mr. Stone, I've heard so much about you. Seeing you today, you really are young and promising. A dragon among men." Julian smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Mr. Carter is too kind." I clinked glasses with him lightly. Mr. Stone arrived and stirred up a storm immediately. This maneuver really opened the eyes of us old guys. The head of the Price family, Arthur Price, said sarcastically, "Indeed, that old fox Victor Sterling jumped around under our noses for so many years. I didn't expect him to fall into Mr. Stone's hands in the end," added Simon Sawyer, head of the Sawyer family. The head of the Lewis family, George Lewis, was much more direct. "Mr. Stone, let's not beat around the bush. You moved on Victor Sterling. Is the next step our syndicate?" The four of them, singing in harmony, seemed to compliment, but were actually pressuring me. I laughed. "Gentlemen, you overthink it." I said, "I have no interest in your industries." The four heard this, and their expressions relaxed slightly. However, I shifted tone. "I am very interested in your territory." "What do you mean?" Julian Carter frowned. I looked around at them, enunciating every word. "From today on, in this city, I call the shots. You all either submit or disappear like Victor Sterling." My words exploded in the banquet hall like a bomb. Everyone gasped. Arrogant. Too arrogant. This was declaring war on the syndicate in front of everyone. The faces of Julian and the others turned incredibly ugly instantly. "Caleb Stone, don't be too cocky." Arthur Price was the first to snap, shouting, "Do you really think our syndicate is made of clay? We four families control 70% of this city's economic lifeline. No matter how powerful Pantheon Group is, can you fight the entire city?" "Really?" I sneered. 70%? So it won't be. I snapped my fingers. The big screen in the ballroom suddenly lit up. Videos and recordings began to play on the screen. "Mr. Carter, don't worry about this shipment. Absolutely untraceable." "Director Price, I've handled your son's hit and run." "Chairman Sawyer, here is the kickback for the construction project you wanted." "Banker Lewis, please look after this illegal loan." The videos were ironclad evidence of the syndicate's collusion, disregard for human life, and tax evasion over the years. Seeing these videos, Julian Carter and the others turned pale as paper, cold sweat pouring down. They never imagined that the things they did so secretly would all be dug up. You. Julian pointed at me, too angry to speak. "Now, do you gentlemen still think you are qualified to negotiate with me?" I raised my glass, took a sip of red wine, and asked calmly. "Thud." Arthur Price was the first to crack under the pressure, his legs giving way as he knelt on the floor. Following him, Simon Sawyer and George Lewis knelt down, faces gray as death. Only Julian Carter held on, standing there, but shaking like a leaf. I walked up to him and patted his face. "Mr. Carter, kneel or die. Pick one." Looking into my motionless eyes, Julian's psychological defense collapsed completely. His knees bent, and he knelt heavily in front of me. With that, the most powerful families in the city submitted entirely before me. The banquet hall was silent. Everyone looked at me with eyes full of awe, like looking at a god. They knew that from this moment on, the sky of this city had completely changed. After the syndicate submitted, I didn't kill them all. I needed them to help me maintain the order of the city. Of course, the premise was they had to be obedient dogs. I integrated their resources and established a new business alliance, with me as the sole leader. Thus, I truly controlled the city firmly in my hands. The headquarters of Pantheon Group also officially moved here from overseas. The Pinnacle became the new center of power in this city. Every day, Countless people broke their heads trying to meet me, but I couldn't be bothered to see them. These days, I was busy handling group affairs, feet barely touching the ground, until Serena reminded me of something. Sir, the city's annual charity auction gala is tonight. By convention, the syndicate hosts it, and this year they want to invite you as the guest of honor. Charity auction? I wasn't very interested. Yes, it is said the finale item tonight is a blue diamond named Heart of the Ocean, valued at over 100 million. Serena said, many celebrities will attend. I wanted to refuse, but on second thought, this was a good opportunity to show Pantheon's strength to the outside world. Let's go take a look then. That night, I took Serena to this high-spec charity gala. The scene was full of celebrities and stars. As soon as I appeared, I became the focus of the whole venue. Julian Carter and the others led the way like servants, introducing the guests. Those big shots, usually high above, everyone became humble and respectful in front of me. I dealt with this boring socializing, feeling a bit dull, until the auction began. The earlier items were antiques and paintings, of no interest to me, until the finale, the Heart of the Ocean, was brought up. It was a huge blue diamond, emitting dreamlike light under the lamps, breathtakingly beautiful. The female guests gasped in admiration. A flash of amazement also passed through Serena's eyes. Starting bid, 20 million. The auctioneer shouted, 22 million, 25 million. The price began to climb. I noticed a familiar figure in the corner raising a paddle. It was Hunter King. He had actually been released, but he looked much more haggard, his eyes full of gloom. Beside him sat a fat, middle-aged man, seemingly his new backer. 50 million. Hunter gritted his teeth and raised the paddle, glancing at me provocatively. The middle-aged man beside him looked unhappy, seemingly thinking the price was too high. I smiled. Want to show off wealth in front of me? 150 million. I raised my paddle lightly. The venue went instantly dead silent. Everyone looked at me like I was a lunatic. 150 million. Buying a diamond? This wasn't showing off wealth. This was burning money. The auctioneer's voice trembled with excitement. 150 million. Mr. Stone bids 150 million. Any higher? Hunter's face turned liver red instantly. He thought by using all his assets he could win a round against me, but he didn't expect I wouldn't play by the rules at all. The 50 million he treated as treasure wasn't even spare change in my eyes. 150 million once, twice. Hunter clenched his fists tightly. The middle-aged man beside him pulled him, signaling him to give up. Sold. Congratulations, Mr. Stone. Thunderous applause erupted. I felt no joy, just said to Serena, take it, play with it like a marble. Serena smiled and accepted it. This scene made everyone present feel what true, inhuman wealth meant. Hunter looked at me, the resentment in his eyes almost solidifying. The middle-aged man beside him seemed to feel he lost face and stood up, walking toward me. Mr. Stone, quite the spender. He smiled without warmth. You are. I glanced at him. I'm Butch, from the provincial capital. Small businessman. Butch introduced himself. Hunter works with me now. He was announcing his turf, telling me Hunter was his man. Oh, I responded flatly, not putting him in my eyes at all. Butch's face darkened. Mr. Stone, leave a line in life, so we can meet nicely in the future. Isn't driving the King family to extinction a bit too much? Too much. I laughed. Do you think if I fell into his hands today, he would show me mercy? Butch was speechless. I'm a person who distinguishes clearly between gratitude and grudges. I stood up, looking him in the eye. Anyone who touches a sin of mine, I dig up their ancestral grave. Your man wants to play with me? I'm ready any time. But next time, it won't be as simple as bankruptcy. My voice wasn't loud, but it carried heart-palpitating, killing intent. A layer of cold sweat seeped out on Butch's forehead. Coming from the capital, he thought he was somebody, but facing me now, he realized he was nothing. He even had an illusion that he wasn't facing a young man, but a peerless demon who walked out a mountain of corpses. He didn't dare say another word and slunk away from the banquet with Hunter. I knew they wouldn't let it go, but I didn't care. Just a few ants. I could crush them any time. After the banquet, I prepared to leave. At the hotel entrance, I saw someone unexpected. Lily Harper. Somehow, she had gotten a waitress uniform and snuck into the hotel. At this moment, her face was sallow. She was thin to the point of disfigurement, having none of her former luster. Seeing me, her eyes filled with complex emotions, regret, unwillingness, and a trace of pleading. Holding a tray, she walked up to me, blocking my path. Mr. Stone. Her voice was hoarse, head down, afraid to look at me. I looked at her, my heart calm, like looking at a stranger. Something the matter? I. Her lips trembled, unable to speak for a long time. Finally, she flopped down, kneeling in front of me. I was wrong. Caleb, I really know I was wrong. Please, give me another chance. She hugged my leg, wailing. People around pointed and whispered. I frowned, feeling annoyed. Let go. My voice turned cold. I won't. Unless you forgive me. I'll count to 3. 1, 2. She still held on tightly, as if this was her last hope. I didn't count to 3. Instead, I lifted my foot and kicked her away. She rolled on the ground like a broken rag doll. I took a handkerchief from my pocket, wiped the pant leg she touched, and threw the handkerchief on the ground. Don't let me see you again. Dirt. With that, I got in the car without looking back. As the car started, I saw in the rearview mirror her paralyzed on the ground, that desperate and twisted face. To me, she was completely in the past tense. After kicking Lily away, my life returned to calm. Dealing with mountains of official business daily, occasionally attending boring business events, life was full but dull. Serena became my most capable assistant, managing everything from work to life in perfect order. Her gaze on me grew hotter, but I didn't have the mood to consider these things temporarily, because that butch from the capital started making moves. He united some forces in the province and began sniping at my industries commercially. Although they were trivial harassments, they were annoying. Sir, this butch is backed by the Thorn family in the capital. The Thorns are local tyrants there, quite powerful, Serena reported. The Thorns. I knocked on the table. Seems they won't learn unless they feel pain. Serena, get ready. We're going to the capital. Yes, sir. The next day, I took Serena and a team of top lawyers and financial analysts and flew straight to the capital. I didn't notify anyone in advance. Arriving in the capital, I had the car drive straight to the Thorn Group building. Call Silas Thorn, the head of the Thorn family. Tell him Caleb Stone is here. Give him 10 minutes to get his ass down here to see me. I sat in the car and told Serena. Serena dialed immediately. Silas Thorn on the other end was clearly extremely dissatisfied with my arrogant manner, roaring a few sentences. But Serena just told him coldly, our boss's time is precious. If you don't see him in 10 minutes, you can prepare to see your ancestors. She hung up. In the car, I closed my eyes to rest. 8 minutes later, a commotion at the gate of Thorn Group. A fat man in his 50s, surrounded by a group, rushed out of the building, stumbling. It was the Thorn patriarch, Silas Thorn. He ran to my car, out of breath, face mixed with anger and fear. Mr. Stone, didn't know you were gracing us. Forgive the lack of welcome. I opened my eyes, rolled down the window, and glanced at him. Patriarch Thorn, quite the ego, made me wait 8 minutes. Silas shuddered and hurriedly explained, I wouldn't dare. I deserve to die. I was in a meeting, came down immediately after the call. Is that so? I smiled. I heard you've been looking for trouble with me lately. Silas's cold sweat poured instantly. Misunderstanding. Mr. Stone, absolute misunderstanding. It's that bastard Butch. He acted on his own. Nothing to do with me. Oh, nothing to do with you. I took out a tablet. On it was a call recording between Silas and Butch. You go ahead and do it boldly. If anything happens, the Thorn family has your back. Hearing the recording, Silas's face went pale instantly, and he went limp. Silas Thorn, I didn't come today to hear your explanation. I interrupted him. I give you 2 choices. First, the Thorn family disappears from the capital. Second, transfer 80% of the assets under your name to Pantheon Group gratis. Then, take your people and clean up that dog butch for me. Pick one. Silas looked at me, eyes full of despair. He knew he had no room to choose. The family business he worked his whole life for was as fragile as paper in front of this young man. I choose the second, he said with difficulty. Good. I nodded. I give you 1 day. Tomorrow at this time, I want to see the transfer agreement and Butch's head. With that, I rolled up the window. Let's go. The convoy left slowly, leaving behind a soulless Silas Thorn. That night, I received the transfer agreement for 80% of the Thorn family assets. At the same time, I received news. Butch was found in his villa, stabbed to death. And Hunter King was found in a suburban dump with broken limbs. Life or death unknown. The Thorn family used the bloodiest method to express their submission to me. Since then, in the underground and above-ground worlds of the entire province, no one dared say no to me, Caleb Stone. Having solved the trouble in the capital, my business empire map expanded again. Pantheon Group had become a behemoth no one dared to provoke. And I finally had some free time. That day, Serena walked in with an invitation. Sir, it's an invitation to your college reunion. Reunion? I paused. It was a distant memory. 4 years of college. To disguise myself, I kept a low profile and had little interaction with most classmates. The only one I had a decent relationship with was a roommate named Leo Hart. After graduation, everyone went their separate ways and lost contact. Don't want to go. I refused directly. Sir, the organizer is the former class monitor, Liam West. They say he's doing well now, an executive at a foreign firm. He specifically named you for this reunion. Serena added. Liam West. I recalled him. A snob who liked sucking up to rich classmates and looked down on us poor students back at school. Asking for me by name? Probably up to no good. Does he know my current situation? I asked. Likely not. The invitation was sent to the mailbox of your old rental, found by our staff. Interesting. I smiled. Let's go take a look then. I also wanted to see the expressions on these old classmates' faces when they learned my true identity. The reunion was set in a private room at a 5-star hotel. I deliberately changed into ordinary casual clothes and drove a low-profile Volkswagen, arriving early. When I arrived, many people were already in the room. Groups of 2 or 3 gathered, chatting about work and life. Seeing me enter, most just glanced and continued their topics, clearly not caring about me. Only a guy with glasses stood up in surprise upon seeing me. Caleb, it's really you. It was Leo Hart. He looked the same, very scholarly. Leo, long time no see. I walked over smiling and hugged him. You kid, disappeared after graduation. Couldn't get through to your phone. Leo punched me lightly. Changed my number, didn't get a chance to tell you. While we chatted, the door opened. Class monitor Liam West walked in, surrounded by a crowd. He wore a designer suit, a gold Rolex on his wrist, looking every bit the successful man. Yo, isn't this Caleb? A rare guest. Liam saw me and spoke sarcastically. I thought you were doing so poorly you were too embarrassed to come. The people around him laughed along. Yeah, Caleb, where are you making your fortune now? Look at his outfit. Probably still moving bricks at a construction site somewhere. Ha ha ha. Leo couldn't take it anymore, frowning. Liam, don't go too far. Too far. Liam glanced at Leo. Am I not stating facts? Look at his poor, wretched look. Lily dumping him for a rich second gen was truly a wise choice. He brought up Lily. My eyes went cold. By the way, speaking of Lily, did you guys hear? A girl said mysteriously. I think I saw her at a club a few days ago, working as a hostess. Real or fake? No way. She used to be our class beauty. Absolutely true. I saw clearly. She got slapped by a customer, looking so pitiful. The crowd sighed. Liam looked at me with schadenfreude. Caleb, hear that? Your ex is selling herself now. Do you feel vindicated? I didn't speak, just watched him quietly, like watching a jumping clown. Liam was unnerved by my stare, but to show off in front of classmates, he braced himself. What are you looking at? Not convinced. Let me tell you, society is this realistic. A broke loser like you deserves to be stepped on. He got more arrogant, picking up a wine glass and walking to me. Here, Caleb, a toast. Wishing you an escape from poverty soon. Ha ha ha. He handed the glass to my face, mockery all over his face. I didn't take it, just as he was about to spill the wine on me. Bang! The door was kicked open. Serena rushed in with a group of black-suited bodyguards. Who dares be rude to our boss? The icy voice resonated through the room. Everyone was scared silly by the scene. The glass in Liam's hand crashed to the floor, shattering. He stared dumbfounded at Serena, then at me, mind in chaos. Bull. Boss. Serena walked to my side, respectfully handing over a document. Boss, the contract for the acquisition of this hotel is ready. Please sign. I took the pen, didn't even look, and signed my name at the bottom. Then, I looked up at the petrified Liam and said flatly, You're fired. My words struck Liam like lightning. Fee. Fired? On what grounds? He stammered, face full of disbelief. Grounds? I smiled, pointing at the carpet. Because this hotel is now mine. Also, that foreign firm you're so proud of? I acquired it yesterday. With every sentence, Liam's face grew whiter. When I finished, he was colorless, legs giving way, collapsing on the floor. The room was deathly silent. All classmates looked at me like I was an alien. Their brains couldn't process this magical scene. The Caleb they saw as destitute, jobless, was actually the owner of this 5-star hotel and a famous foreign firm. This was crazier than a movie. Leo also gaped, staring at me blankly. I ignored the shock, walking to Liam, looking down at him. You just said society is realistic, right? You also said I deserve to be stepped on, right? Liam trembled, opening his mouth like a fish out of water, making no sound. Now, I tell you what true reality is. I lifted my foot, stepped on his face, and ground my leather shoe. Reality is, I can make you fall from your so-called peak to the abyss in 1 second. Everything you take pride in is worthless in my eyes. I retracted my foot, took out a handkerchief, wiped the shoe tip, and threw it on his face. Get out. From now on, no company in this city will dare hire you. Liam lay paralyzed, eyes glazed, spirit drained. He was done. He knew he was completely finished. I turned to Serena. Clear the room. Put the bill on my tab. Yes, boss. Serena directed the guards to invite the terrified classmates out. I walked to Leo and patted his shoulder. Let's go change a venue. Have a proper drink. Leo woke from his dream, looking at me with complex eyes. Caleb, talk outside. I took Leo to the presidential suite on the top floor. This was my private lounge. Top-tier wine and food were ready. Leo looked at the luxury, feeling like he was dreaming. Caleb, what exactly is going on? He couldn't help asking. I poured him a drink and briefly told him about the past few years. Of course, omitting the bloody and cruel parts. Even so, Leo couldn't calm down for a long time. So you were always the heir to Pantheon Group. You could say that. And you and Lily. Just a game, I said flatly. A game where I saw human nature clearly. Leo sighed, raising his glass. Brother, I don't know what to say. Anyway, as long as you're good, I'm relieved. Cheers. We clinked glasses and downed them. By the way, where are you working now? I asked. Leo looked gloomy. After graduation, joined a small company as a programmer. Overtime till midnight every day, not making much. Interested in coming to me? I invited directly. I need a trustworthy brother by my side. Leo froze. Me? I can't. I don't know anything. You can learn. I said. I trust your character. Don't rush to refuse. Go back and think about it. That night, Leo and I talked a lot. College fun, post-grad bitterness, future plans. It was the first time since returning I felt so relaxed. After sending Leo off, I stood alone by the window, watching the night view. Serena walked silently behind me, draping a coat over me. Sir, it's late. You should rest. I turned and looked at her. Under the light, her face was heart-stoppingly beautiful. These days, no matter how crazy my decisions, she supported and executed unconditionally. She was like my shadow, always behind me. I suddenly reached out and pulled her into my arms. Serena stiffened, then trembled slightly in my embrace. Serena, I looked down at her. Thank you for always being with me. It is what I should do. Her voice held nervousness and joy. No. I shook my head. From today, you are no longer my subordinate. Panic flashed in Serena's eyes. Be my woman, okay? I looked into her eyes and asked earnestly. Serena was stunned. Happiness came too suddenly, leaving her at a loss. 2 lines of tears slid from her eyes. She didn't speak, just stood on tiptoe and answered all my questions with a fervent kiss. Outside, the night was beautiful, and my world finally had a color of warmth. Since getting together with Serena, my life seemed brighter. She was no longer just a work robot. Occasionally she would act spoiled, show a little temper, like a real girl in love. Our feelings heated up rapidly in the plain but warm daily life. Leo Hart finally accepted my invitation, quit his job, and came to Pantheon Group. I didn't make him start from the bottom, but appointed him as my special assistant, keeping him by my side to learn how to manage a massive business empire. He learned fast and worked hard, gradually sharing my burden. Everything seemed to be developing in a good direction. However, the tree craves calm, but the wind will not cease. That day, I received an encrypted call from overseas. On the other end was an old, majestic voice. My nominal grandfather, founder of Pantheon Group and the patriarch of the Stone family. Caleb, have you played enough? Grandfather Alistair Stone's tone held no emotion. If by play, you mean controlling nearly half the economic lifeline of the China region, then I think I played pretty well. I responded flatly. Oomph. Child's play. Grandfather snorted. I give you 1 month. End everything in China immediately and get back to European headquarters. Why? No why. This is an order. Grandfather's tone allowed no doubt. The family has arranged a marriage for you. A princess of the Rothschild family. This marriage is crucial to the Stone family. No mistakes allowed. Marriage alliance. I laughed. That old cliché. What do they take me for? A tool to consolidate family interests. What if I refuse? My voice turned cold too. Silence on the other end. Caleb, don't forget, everything you have now was given by the family. I can give it, and I can take it back. Grandfather's voice was full of threats. Is that so? I sneered. You could try. You control the Pantheon Group's China region, but all capital flows must pass through headquarters accounts. 1 word from me, and you become a penniless pauper instantly. You think I did nothing for 6 months? I leaned back, speaking slowly. All capital flows in the China region were detached from headquarters control a month ago and moved to my secret accounts. In other words, the current Pantheon Group China is my, Caleb Stone's, private property. It has nothing to do with your Stone family. What? On the phone, grandfather's voice showed shock and anger for the first time. You dare betray the family. Betray? I sneered. From the moment 3 years ago you used me as a lab rat and threw me to China to sink or swim, I haven't belonged to the Stone family. Everything I have today, I fought for with my own fists. It has not a dime to do with you. You ungrateful son. Grandfather roared. I give you two choices. I interrupted him. First, acknowledge the independence of Pantheon China. From now on, we stay out of each other's way. Second, declare war on me. But I guarantee the one falling in the end will be your rotting Stone family. With that, I hung up. I knew a real war was about to begin. No longer a skirmish, but a duel to the death between two massive consortiums. But I had no fear, because I wasn't the pawn to be manipulated from 3 years ago. I was the king, the only king on this land. After tearing face with the Stone family, I immediately entered combat readiness. I knew grandfather wouldn't let it go. Decades dominating the world made him arrogant. He wouldn't allow anyone to challenge his authority, even his grandson. Sure enough, within 3 days, the Stone family's forces in Europe launched a full-scale attack. Financial markets, public opinion, business partnerships. They used every available power, attempting to strangle my China business completely. For a time, all companies under my control faced unprecedented pressure. Stocks plummeted, cooperation ceased, negative news blanketed everything. The entire group teetered in the wind and rain. Disharmonious voices appeared internally too. Those fence-sitters who once swore loyalty began to stir. Boss, the syndicate people have been contacting Europe frequently lately. Leo reported with a grim face. Expect it. I wasn't surprised. They think I'm falling, looking for a new backer. What do we do? Ignore them. I looked out the window, eyes deep. Let them jump. The higher they jump, the harder they fall. Now, our main task is to stabilize the financial market. For the next half-month, I practically lived in the office, sleeping 3 or 4 hours a day. My team and I fought a death match with the Stone family in this smokeless financial war. Shorting and counter-shorting. Acquisitions and counter-acquisitions. Billions flowed every second. Every day was heart-stopping. Serena stayed by my side, handling administration and taking care of my life. Seeing her haggard face, I felt pain. Serena, go rest. I've got this. No. She shook her head stubbornly, bringing me coffee. I want to be with you. I held her hand, heart-warming. With her and Leo, my two most trusted people, I felt full of strength. Finally, on the 20th day, the tide turned. I used an intricate financial trap to successfully entrap tens of billions of dollars in short-selling funds from the Stone family and counterattacked, routing them. The Stone family's European stocks collapsed in response. They lost the gamble of the century. News reached home, and the wavering forces instantly behaved. Julian Carter and the others ran to the Pinnacle overnight, kneeling at my door, kowtowing for forgiveness. I didn't see them. I never softened toward traitors. The next day, the core industries of the syndicate were all seized and acquired by my thunderous methods. Their decades of foundation turned to nothing overnight, and I stepped on their bones to ascend to a higher throne. Solving internal and external troubles, I could finally deal with the last matter. I dialed grandfather's number. His voice was full of fatigue and age. I lost. Are you satisfied now? It's not about my satisfaction. I said, this is what you owe me. The Stone family is yours from now on. He seemed to use his last strength. I have no interest in the Stone family. I said coldly, from now on, there is no Stone family, only Pantheon. And I am the only master of the Pantheon. Hanging up, I let out a long breath. It was all over. Those who betrayed me, humiliated me, tried to destroy me, all paid the price. And I finally stood at the peak of the world. After the war, everything returned to track. I spent a month completely annexing and digesting the Stone family's European assets. Pantheon Group became a true commercial empire on which the sun never sets. I formally walked from behind the scenes to the front stage, becoming the uncrowned king of the global business world. Time magazine named me Man of the Century, and my photo appeared on front pages worldwide. But I didn't care about the fame. I declined all interviews and banquets, taking Serena to a quiet island. This was a private island I bought for her. Here, we held a wedding for just the two of us. No guests, no noise. Just blue sky, white clouds, sand waves, and the sincerest love in each other's eyes. Caleb, I love you. Serena wore a white wedding dress, beautiful as an angel. I love you too. I put the heart of the ocean ring on her finger. We embraced and kissed, sea breeze blowing our hair, seeming to bless us. Post-marriage life was plain and happy. I handed most group affairs to Leo and a team of professional managers. Serena and I began traveling the world. We went to the Eiffel Tower in Paris, the Colosseum in Rome, made wishes by the Aegean Sea, chased the sunset in the Sahara. We made up for all the scenery and time missed in those 3 years. A year later, Serena gave birth to a lovely son. I named him Connor. I hoped his life would be safe and peaceful, never experiencing the twists and hatred I did. Sometimes in the dead of night, I would think of the people and things of the past. Think of Lily Harper asking me to deliver condoms at the hotel. Think of Hunter King kneeling before me in ugly disgrace. Think of those families and enemies I destroyed personally. But my heart held no ripples. They were just insignificant stepping stones on my road to kingship. I wouldn't thank them, nor pity them, because everything was their own doing. That day, I took Serena and our son for a walk on the streets of Milan. Suddenly, in a cheap restaurant on the corner, I saw a familiar figure. It was Lily. She was mopping the floor laboriously, hair withered and yellow, figure bloated, face full of the vicissitudes of time. She seemed to see me too. Her body stiffened violently, the mop falling to the floor. She looked at Serena beside me, at the lovely child in our arms, at our expensive clothes. Her eyes filled with endless regret and despair. She wanted to hide, but found nowhere to run. I just looked at her calmly for a second, then withdrew my gaze, pushing the stroller, continuing forward with Serena. We were people of 2 different worlds long ago. That was, Serena asked softly, just a passerby. I said flatly. In the sunlight, our family's shadow stretched long. Everything past had vanished like smoke. My brand new life had just begun.